The U.S. Supreme Court is going to be the center of the political universe today.
Justices are being asked whether former President Donald Trump can be removed from state ballots for allegedly engaging in an insurrection. Doug Luzader joins us from Washington with a preview. Doug, good morning.
Brooke and Bob, good morning. This is exactly the kind of case that the Supreme Court does not like to take up, but this question is so critical to this year's election that the justices were left with very little choice. The line starts here for the Supreme Court today, and some don't want to miss a second of what's about to happen.
This is a landmark decision, and I want to be in the room where it happens, to quote Hamilton.
Colorado wants to kick former President Trump off of its ballot, accusing him of engaging in an insurrection over the attack on the Capitol following the 2020 election. And some other states will try to follow suit. They're citing the 14th Amendment, which was adopted to prevent former Confederate officials from holding office. The court has a range of questions before it. Was January 6th an insurrection? Did Trump participate? And does the 14th Amendment even apply to presidents?
The likelihood of President Trump losing this case in the Supreme Court is somewhere between 0 and 0.
Some see it as unlikely that the court would allow a state to have such sweeping power over an election. And Chief Justice John Roberts may push for a narrow, unanimous ruling.
And I think the Supreme Court is going to be very cautious. They are going to try to achieve unanimity. I don't think it's out of the question you actually get a unanimous decision in former President Trump's favor. But the idea that the Supreme Court would kick him off the ballot and uphold what Colorado has done, I just don't see that happening.
But this is difficult to predict. The court's likely to move pretty quickly, though, by Supreme Court standards, which means a decision would come in weeks rather than months. Brooke and Bob.
Yeah, we'll be watching, and it's a case that revolves around the Colorado situation, but this could have ramifications for other states, right?
Yeah, as with everything with the Supreme Court, there's a question of precedent here, and that's why there is the concern that if in fact they allow Colorado to do this, you're going to have one state after another follow suit. And does the court want to really see that happen? That's going to be among the questions here.
All right, Doug Luzader live for us in Washington. We appreciate it, Doug. Thank you.